Sri Lanka is still counting the cost of Cyclone Ditwa on the country's economy infrastructure as the disaster scale, the depth of the humanitarian situation, economic and structural scars the cyclone has left as it ravaged across all districts and provinces of the country is a question that remains to be answered. But we at Hyde Park tonight will be focusing on how the immediate emergency response and rescue efforts transition into long-term recovery and sustainability of the country's economy as the nation remains resilient yet hopeful of what's coming next. And aid and support of our closest neighbor, India, comes into sharp focus as India has come into Sri Lanka's assistance. And India was among the first to extend assistance and mobilizing support to extend to Sri Lanka. And tonight I'm recording at Hyde Park on other Derana 24 from the Indian High Commission in Colombo as we talk about India's support extended to Sri Lanka. I am joined by Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, His Excellency Santosh Jha, here in Colombo. Thank you very much, High Commissioner, for your time. And tonight we want to talk about India's immediate and rapid response to Sri Lanka's immediate rescue and relief operations. We understand that India has been closely monitoring the situation here in Sri Lanka. So what led to the immediate response? What kind of decision-making went behind the mobilization of this relief effort?
No, first, let me first thank you for this opportunity to speak to your viewers. This is a very difficult moment in Sri Lanka, so my condolences to all those who have lost lives and suffered during this terrible cyclone. A natural calamity like that hits a country once in a decade, and this is one of those times. The Prime Minister of India has already conveyed, was the first global leader to convey condolences. Subsequently, the President and the Prime Minister has spoken. And we were very quick, as is our policy, as part of our Neighborhood First policy, to respond swiftly and quickly for a friend and a neighbor like Sri Lanka. We actually began this process early morning of 28th of November, immediately after the night the cyclone hit. And our first consignment, fortunately, because we had the Indian aircraft carrier stationed here along with another ship, we could take out stuff from there, and we put out more than 9 tons of immediate relief that we handed over by 11 a.m. on that day. Around that time, we were planning for the subsequent supplies, and the first plane took off from Delhi by the late afternoon and was waiting in Kochi to go into Colombo as soon as the weather permitted, and we landed around midnight on the 28th, 29th night. We have so far provided something like 53 tons of material, another 50 tons of equipment. We have deployed 2 Mi-17s, which is helping with transporting Sri Lankan troops as well as rescuing people and also, distributing relief material. We also have deployed 80-strong NDRF, the National Disaster Response Force, which is a specialized force to handle situations like these from India. They are specialists in going into areas where natural calamity of any kind has hit.
And here they are engaged in relief or rescue mission, is it?
Absolutely. There are 2 teams. The first team was sent to Badula, which is one of the worst affected areas. The other team was sent to Puttalam. Yesterday they were operating in Seduwatta, where I also joined them for a little while, rescuing people in the flood situation. In Badula, there is these landslides where people are buried inside that, and they are trying to help with the recovery of the deceased. They also helping with relief material distribution, and they are operating. In fact, as I'm speaking, even the team which was in Seduwatta is being transferred to Badula. So all the 80 will be working there. As I said, these are very, very highly specialized units because they are not like army or police. They are trained only for disaster response, and so they have the skill sets, they have the equipment exactly needed for the kind of problem that we are facing right now. We have also transferred two Bhishma Cubes. These are very unique cubes. They are the size of an almirah, but they turn into an operation theater with all the basic equipment, and they can
For health and medical emergencies.
exactly with
Right.
they have all the medicines, they have machines to monitor, they have X-ray units, everything. They are self-sufficient, and each unit can actually cater to 200 patients in a day. So these are also deployed, I think, in 2 to 3 locations.
Right.
Yesterday, I was able to receive a full field hospital unit with 73 Indian personnel on board. They are on their way to somewhere close to Kandy, where they have been asked to deploy. And similarly, we will have, more equipment coming in. I am expecting another flight later tonight and subsequent days over the next 2, 3 days. They'll be bringing other types of communication equipment, Bailey bridges, which is needed to connect some of the bridges that are now not functional. We'll have to put in, some kind of a temporary structure there that will allow movement, which is so important both for tourism to resume normalcy and also to get the people to move out of those locations where they are currently unable to move.
Right.
So we will continue this process. I mean, the material that we have provided is shelter material, food rations, equipment, so a whole variety, including personnel. So we were not just here very quickly. We've come well equipped, and we are going to stay here as long as the government of Sri Lanka wants us to stay.
High Commissioner, if we count the number of Indian officials and personnel you have deployed or the Indian government has deployed in Sri Lanka, and also what kind of assessment does India have of the economic and humanitarian cost of the crisis, the natural calamity has caused here in Sri Lanka?
That is very difficult for me to answer. I mean, we rely on exactly the same type of information that you rely on, which the government is providing. We have seen the deaths approaching 400, more than 370 people missing, and these numbers are getting revised as more and more places are being reached and accessed, and more relief personnel is reaching those difficult to reach areas. But one thing is very clear, that the calamity is of a very gigantic proportion, that it has affected the people, large number of people. From government figures, it's more than 1 million, almost 1.5 million. So this will naturally have to be assessed, and we will have to work on, based on that assessment, as to how to work towards the next stage, which is, the current stage is that of rescue and relief, and then we move towards rehabilitation and reconstruction.
Sri Lanka is counting on India's support. India has come to Sri Lanka's aid and assistance during the economic crisis, and of course, immediate as it could be in this natural calamity which has devastated the country and economy. We also understand that India has extended a gesture of opening up its airspace to fly aid from Pakistan to Sri Lanka. The first batch, and then now there are claims that there are delays and that India has shut down its airspace. So can India, as a gesture to Sri Lanka, work on this? What is the situation?
See, I think it is very strange, because our approval to Pakistan was given in a matter of hours, 4 hours. That's very unusual.
So
Also remember that the Pakistani airspace remains closed for India. So this is part of the current state of relationship. I have a feeling that Pakistan is the liar in chief. It is a country that has always played on with mind games, trying to show off more than they can deliver. You make an announcement that you are going to deliver 100 tons, then the other country that is supposed to give you the flight clearance, you go to them expecting that they will refuse it. Then we go ahead and actually surprise them by giving this in a very, very quick time, because we want to help Sri Lanka. And then they say, oh, this is not enough for me. So, I don't understand, is this part of the propaganda that they are very good at and they've been doing it over a longer period of time? Or is it really something real. Because, I mean, we've seen reports about expired items being delivered to Sri Lanka. So I don't know what Pakistan is talking about. It is a complete lie and the most ridiculous assertion that I have ever heard. Because you have closed your airspace, you need an airspace of the other side to be opened for you to deliver aid to a friendly country. We have provided you the permission. Then why are you complaining? Because you never had an intent actually to deliver. You actually wanted to have the publicity more than the delivery. We have not gone to the world saying how much we have delivered, how much, when we will deliver. We started delivering even before we were asked. Nobody requested from the Sri Lankan side when our supplies began. That is why I gave you the timeline. That we, 8:30 in the morning, I was in Delhi. I spoke to the authorities here in Sri Lanka. I conveyed that we are sending these supplies. We were not asking what you need, but we kind of assumed that these are the things that in these situations will be needed, and we immediately put in place a supply line. We actually sent the NDRF, without being told, because we know the NDRF can be very helpful in these situations. We sent the Bhishma Cubes without being asked for it specifically. Nobody in Sri Lanka knows that such a thing exists, because we know that this will be helpful in those situations. You help people, friends who are in need, and you don't use it for propaganda and spreading lies and canards, and then accuse the other country, which is in good faith given you clearance, that it has not been a proper clearance.
In the interest of clearing all information that we are receiving, how did the clearance take place? Was this a request put forth by the Pakistani
Of
side
course,
or the
they
Sri
were,
Lankan side?
both sides requested us. The Sri Lankan side also requested us, and we assured both sides that we will be responding, and we gave them the clearance, as I said. So it's not a question of denying it. I mean, you have a situation where their airspace is closed, our airspace is closed for them. We gave them the permission, and then they are saying that they can't fly.
And Indian airspace will open up, will be kept
They have
open up to continue aid if the need arises from the
I
Pakistani
cannot
side.
answer a hypothetical question. The airspace remains closed normally. In that situation, you get approvals. They have been
Understood.
granted once they were requested. Now, no further request has come.
High Commissioner, to move back to the situation on the ground, what do your personnel convey to you about the urgent requirements as we speak? What are the challenges they face, and what would you call out to the international community to bring in as aid or support to Sri Lanka?
See, we have to get, as I said, to the next stage where rehabilitation and reconstruction has to begin. So we have initiated conversation with the government of Sri Lanka. We do intend to continue to extend the support that we have always pledged and committed. We had the Prime Minister convey India's unwavering commitment to Sri Lanka. This is not the first time we are doing it. We have to do it because we are neighbors. We are, civilizational twins. Our pulse, the heart beats together. We are very, very close, not just in the sense of being in terms of geographical terms, but culturally, civilizationally. It is natural. In fact, I was mentioning to one of the political leaders yesterday who were thanking me at the quick response from India, and I said that it shouldn't surprise you anymore because India has committed that. It is a natural act from a neighbor and a friendly country. If we have the ability and we have the capability and the position to come to the assistance of a country, another neighboring country which is in crisis like this, we will always come. We call ourselves the first responder in the region. We have helped in situations in Myanmar recently, in Nepal recently. We've gone as far as Turkey. We've gone to Mozambique. We've gone even to El Salvador last year when there was a crisis there. We do that all around the world, but most importantly in the neighborhood.
Is India guided by your principles of SAGAR and also Neighborhood First? And I also want to ask you, High Commissioner, whether India has really cemented the idea of being a big brother to Sri Lanka here. We've been talking about this continuously, whether or not.
No, I don't like this word big brother. I have always said that we are civilizational twins. We belong to the same antiquity. We are from the same of the same age, so there is no bigger or smaller sibling here. We are siblings and we are twins. So I would sort of put it in that manner. Having said that, the fact that we are helping Sri Lanka, as I said, shouldn't surprise anybody. You are in a situation which is out of your control. This is a natural calamity. This was not an invitation to trouble that you had sent. You got it, through the natural factors. In this situation, any country, any civilized country would extend help to another country, and particularly to a neighbor and a friendly country like Sri Lanka. We are obligated to do so. We do this with a sense of responsibility, unconditionally, and we will do it all the time. And we do know that if we were in a similar situation, that you would do the same to us. So it is a relationship of respect, it is a relationship of affection, it is a relationship of great solidarity that we have developed over the years.
High Commissioner, moving beyond the immediate aftermath of the situation on the ground, it is evident now that Sri Lanka will need more international support, and of course more from Sri Lanka's immediate neighbor, India, to recover, regain, just as Sri Lanka is overcoming and coming out of a deep economic crisis. But now this natural disaster, we're still counting the cost of the economic impact. Food security remains a question, immediate and post-medical care, and sustenance of the livelihoods of the people who have lost them, rebuilding infrastructure. So how do you really view, or is there even an understanding that you can share with us? Because India has faced calamities.
See, it's too early to announce anything. I think this is not a time. As I said, we should announce it when the right time comes, rather than announce first and unable to deliver, which is the question with one country that you had posed. The thing is that we are already in conversation with the government. We are making an assessment. From the press reports, we find that houses have been destroyed. Some houses have been completely destroyed, and so others are damaged. There's been impact on hospitals, schools. There are, fishermen who are impacted. Paddy fields have been washed out, and sowing will have to be done once again. And there are many areas where you can visibly see the damage. And all of the issues that you mentioned will be something that we will be working on to find ways and means in which how we can, assist or be of help to Sri Lanka. And we will be putting together some kind of a program in cooperation with government of Sri Lanka, based on their own assessments and requirements, as to how India can provide assistance. The other thing that we will be talking about, and actually some conversations have already begun, is to look at how disaster response systems can be made better, and we can coordinate on this much more in real time, and we have the capacity to prepare for it in a better way than maybe we may have been able to do this time. Every experience is a learning occasion. You can improve your systems, and how we can do that. That kind of thing will also have to take place, and this is something we will be initiating very soon in a very concrete way.
To recap on what was given, India has extended much of the aid Sri Lanka has received so far, a majority of it. And you mentioned a number of others that are destined to Sri Lanka. If you can give out a few details of what's incoming so far.
See, as I said, I don't like announcing something before we have delivered. But what we know right now is that yesterday we had the field hospital come in, Globemaster, the C-17. Another C-17 will be flying over the next couple of days, bringing in wheelie bridges. We have been requested for communication equipment. We are trying to procure and deliver that. We are trying to bring in some water purification systems that can be deployed remotely. We are also trying the larger Indian business and Indian community to be mobilized to deliver some kind of assistance, which will not be as large as the governmental assistance that will be coming from India. And there are some more things that we are working on, but I would like those to be finalized and then announce them. As I say, I don't like, this is not an occasion to win and score points. We are a friend. We don't have to prove our friendship to Sri Lanka. We know the Sri Lankans expect us to respond, and they treat us as friends, as family, and therefore we do not have to be, using this occasion to, just spread the word before actually we deliver. So you will see that over the next week or so and months, steadily Indian assistance will be coming.
High Commissioner, you mentioned the bridges and as part of the immediately promised and assured assistance coming into Sri Lanka, although you don't want to give us assurances to what is coming. So how are they going to be used in Sri Lanka? Is this infrastructure adjustment or improvised bridges?
See, day before yesterday, when the president spoke to the prime minister, he specifically asked for assistance with bridges because some of these bridges in Sri Lanka have become unusable, and that is affecting the connectivity. So we have responded immediately by identifying what are called Bailey bridges. These are bridges that can be installed immediately, quickly, and connectivity can be restored. These were specifically asked. There are Bailey bridges installed in Sri Lanka already, and people are familiar with it. So we'll be bringing the first one is coming tonight on a C-17. It takes one plane. C-17 is one of the biggest transport planes in the world. It takes the entire plane to bring one Bailey bridge. And so we'll be supplying some more over the coming days so that
one
they could be
plane
installed.
for each bridge.
One plane, one
transport.
bridge. Exactly. And these are very, very heavy, bridges. I mean, these are steel structures that will be laid out like a bridge across the river or a stream to connect certain parts which currently are not connected because the old bridges are not usable anymore. So it will help both with, evacuating people and sending relief to people where currently you have to fly on a helicopter, and the helicopters are limited in terms of how much they can supply, how much they can evacuate. But if you have the connectivity restored, then you would have more supplies going in and more people coming out as well. So this has a very big multiplier effect on the impact on the ground.
These are set up as a
they will be dismantled and brought, and then they will be taken in about 15 trucks to the location, and then they will be set up there, and so they can do it very, very quickly.
It sounds like it's a bigger mission than we can even fathom with many people involved in this, I believe.
Well, there will be engineers accompanying them, and of course, as I said, India. In Sri Lanka there are people who are familiar with it, so they will be working in close coordination to set it up. But this is a very big mission in that sense that even before I agreed to send it, I did not know that it will take a full plane. C-17s are the biggest planes or the second biggest plane in the world for transport, air transport. And it takes the entire plane. So if we are sending 3 bridges over the next 3 days, each one will be carried in one C-17 flight. So there will be 3 sorties out here.
3 of them here, right?
That is how big it is. So, but the most important thing is the impact, I think, because the impact is, as I said, it connects the places that are currently unconnected, and it helps with relief, with rescue, with also evacuation. And one of the things that Sri Lanka needs to quickly get back to is tourism. So
certainly.
To install them in those areas where, tourist traffic is likely to come, this is the tourist season, you don't want that business to be impacted.
Do you know where the bridges will be coming up as of yet?
They are coming, first one is coming tonight, and then the others will come over the next days.
And they will be set up in
the Sri Lankan government will decide where they want to put it up. And as we speak, they must be deciding where to put them up.
Sri Lankans are sincerely grateful to India for the assistance. Going forward, High Commissioner, how do you think India, and with, of course, the mission's intervention, work on the aspect of ensuring food security in Sri Lanka, and how we can work on that?
We will have to work on that. Naturally, I heard His Excellency the President talk about yesterday about the paddy fields being washed out, the need for fertilizers and fresh seeds. We'll try to see how we can meet those requirements. We are looking at supplying, food more and more for the immediate need, at least in the short term. And already conversations are going on how some of the shortages that may be anticipated could be fulfilled through quick imports or supplies from India by the government. So we are working on those issues. The other thing that will be very important, as you mentioned earlier, is the health aspect. You know, with the waters receding, there will be waterborne diseases. We need, safe drinking water. So as I said, we are bringing in some safe drinking water assets. Already something of that sort has already come, but on a larger scale, on a bigger scale, we will be bringing in. And we are also looking at, medical supplies, equipment. So the field hospital is doing that. The Bhishma Cubes that we have deployed are already doing it. But we have also supplied about 4.5 tons of medicines. And if there is more requirement, we can look at that. We also have the 73 medical staff here, along with the field hospitals. That
73 medical staff.
Yes, yes. So they will be also, they are deployed with the field hospital.
Right.
And in the case of Bhishma Cubes, we have very quickly trained Sri Lankan doctors just in a day to use it. And they are the ones who are operating it and using it. So we already providing medical, food related, water related, and, assistance in terms of relief personnel for, sending, rescuing people, getting them out of the harm's way, delivering personnel through Me-17s, also rescuing people who are, in difficult situations. So you can see that as the relief and rescue part is the first two phases of any such natural calamity, we have covered most of the ground already. And we are happy that a lot of the other countries are also stepping up and providing relief and supplementing the efforts that we are putting in. Naturally, Sri Lanka will need help on a larger scale, and we are very happy that it's coming from all directions.
And how can India be the center that will, at central point, maybe send out a call to the international community even to assist Sri Lanka just beyond the immediate relief and rescue efforts, because Sri Lanka is looking at sustaining not just the economy but livelihoods and also rebuilding the economy. The next 2 to 4 months will be of grave, will have intense operations here in Sri Lanka.
That's a part of the conversation we'll have with the diplomatic community also. I see that the conversations have already begun in that regard. The World Bank, the UN is initiating some measures by which they will be addressing this. But also the fact that, as I told you, we have a plan to work with the government to assess the needs and try to provide and fulfill those needs in the short and medium term. In the long term, of course, the bilateral relationship is a very vibrant one. We have a large investment pipeline. We have very large projects to implement, which will definitely be continued. I don't think anybody wants to slow down the effort on that direction, because we have faced with this situation. We will continue to do this and also that. So I think the stress will be to, in all this, to ensure that Sri Lanka's economy continues to grow, remain stable first and continue to grow, and also any negative impact to be mitigated as far as possible, not for a return to a difficult situation that existed in Sri Lanka some years ago.
Does India worry that Sri Lanka will be taken advantage of by any interested parties with agendas at this vulnerable stage?
No, I don't think in a humanitarian situation that is an ideal thing to do. If any country is doing it, we need to be aware of that and keep them at an arm's length, surely. That is for the Sri Lankan government to make an assessment, not for us to comment on.
The region's security and safety and strength is also of India's interest, and of the health and sustainability of the region. So how do you look at now with India really, India's gesture of opening up the airspace to Pakistan is seen as a big move here in Sri Lanka as well. So does this mean we have space and there is interest in a larger South Asian cooperation and coordination going forward?
See, I think we need to focus right now on the crisis at hand and not get it into geopolitical discussions at this time, because that will only complicate matters. This is not the right time. I think we are jumping the gun a little bit. There are people who are in harm's way. There are people who have died. There are families who have lost their livelihoods. We need to work towards restoring them. And in a very difficult geopolitical world today, to get ahead of the curve is one of the biggest mistakes that people will make. Certainly, we as diplomats, we remain cautious about these things.
Your expertise in trade has also helped Sri Lanka much in looking at ways to navigate trade tensions. Given the situation now, Sri Lanka must not only focus on recovery and the aftermath, but also sealing improved connections with the rest of the world. How do you suggest Sri Lanka work on this, High Commissioner?
A free trade agreement with Sri Lanka, there is a need to upgrade that, in my view, because this is long overdue. We are in the 25th year of the free trade agreement, and it needs a review and an update. And we have proposed that to the government, and we hope that what we hear the government talking in the parliament recently, that they are assessing that internally, and they will be coming back to us with their proposals on how to upgrade it. I think in that sense, India and Sri Lanka needs closer economic integration, lower tariffs, less non-tariff barriers, greater integration in services sectors, as well as stronger investment relationship is the way to go forward. Now, I think in doing trade liberalization or modernization of the trade agreements, we need to also ensure that we are not taken advantage of by third countries, who use the openness between us to, bring items which serve neither of us interest. Both Sri Lanka and India are not served by it, but that country's interest it serves. So we need to be careful about that as well, because that's a very, very important element that we need to take care of. And I think this is one of the thrust areas of upgrading the free trade agreement, that we strengthen them to an extent that it serves our interest and allows us to trade freely, rather than letting unauthorized trade or illegal trade to happen.
Would you say there's more trust now between India and Sri Lanka?
Oh, certainly. I mean, our relations are absolutely excellent. They've never been better. We have a very vibrant bilateral relationship. It is unrelated to cyclone today, and the pre-cyclone it was like that, post-cyclone it will remain like that.
I want to very quickly also talk about disaster prediction and preparedness. I know India has spoken previously also about the need, not just in the region, but among our few countries as well. So Cyclone Ditwa, remnants were seen in Tamil Nadu, devastation caused there too. While our hearts are with and prayers are with the people of Tamil Nadu, we want to understand how we can work together to understand what the climate is doing to our countries and economies, and be more prepared and more ready to avert loss of lives.
There are many initiatives that both jointly with Sri Lanka and with on our side India has taken. One is the coalition on disaster resilient infrastructure that the Prime Minister initiated, and Sri Lanka is part of it. We have a Colombo Security Conclave, where disaster relief and response is one of the pillars of that platform. We have the BIMSTEC, which is something that talks about this aspect, the HADR and the disaster relief and response systems. So there are mechanisms, and we need to work in them to understand the new types of behavior of climate, that is the change in behavior of the climate that we are witnessing, how the weather patterns are changing, and what needs to be done to be better aware, so that citizens are better informed and better prepared. And when the calamity hits, that the governments are better equipped to be able to respond to these so that the damages are minimized. There will be some damage always. In India, we have two states, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, that have a lot of experience of handling cyclones. Almost every year they get hit by cyclones. And they have very robust systems in this regard. And these are systems that we are thinking of, trying to make it more spread out, not just in India, but in neighboring countries as well. And it depends, of course, through discussions, if we can come to an understanding that such systems or similar systems, not exactly the same, can be set up in Sri Lanka, and that its preparedness and strength to endure these kind of situations is improved. So we will be working on that. As I said, the conversations have already begun.
Many Sri Lankans continue to talk about the speed of India's support and aid. So before we wrap up, High Commissioner, we want to understand also, while Sri Lankan people we know have been resilient over these crises, it is also a very difficult time for our people. The nation has come to a point where it is broken in terms of infrastructure to the lives and hope. But I'm sure India's grace and support has brought us new hope. So what have you got to tell us now?
Well, I mean, I can only say that we share all the, sense of grief that is there, and we have a commitment to Sri Lanka is very, very similar to what we have for ourselves. We are not different people. We feel for Sri Lanka in the same way. I saw today some of Indian figures, very famous people, talking about their experience in Sri Lanka and how they were treated with warmth and how they are feeling today for the kind of difficulty Sri Lanka is facing. So those things are, well known. They don't need to be repeated. The sentiments are very, very strong on both sides. There is a very good feeling both in India and Sri Lanka for each other. We will continue to remain engaged. I don't think this difficult time will also pass, as they say. It is only a matter of time. Yesterday, I was at the location where the Indian National Disaster Relief Force was helping with the evacuation in Seduwata, in the outskirts of Colombo. And I saw people smiling and in all the adversity, waving their hand to me, thanking India. And I was struck by the resilience that has kept Sri Lanka standing and continuing to fight in this situation. So it is something we have seen before. And I'm sure this resilience will allow Sri Lanka to, get over the current difficulties and get to better times very soon.
Does this mean we will also see more economic assistance coming Sri Lanka's way as part of the crisis assistance?
Surely, without a doubt. I think we will be working on something like that. But as I say, I don't announce things before they are cooked. So I will hold myself back on that. But we are working on that. We're working with the government to see how and what will be the need and how the best we can provide a response to that and assist Sri Lanka in its efforts to get out of the current situation.
Certainly. Thank you very much, High Commissioner, for your time to talk to us at Hyde Park at the Derana while you personally engage in these relief and rescue missions together with your people who are deployed here in Sri Lanka.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Of course, we were in conversation with the Indian High Commissioner to Colombo, His Excellency Santosh Jha, who is joining us at Hyde Park from the Indian High Commission in Colombo. The High Commissioner himself has been engaged in relief and rescue missions personally in and around Colombo and other affected areas. We're also looking at discussions here at Hyde Park to focus on the long-term recovery and sustainability of Sri Lanka's economy and the country's way out of the current crisis. Of course, Cyclone Ditwa devastated the economy, but here we are looking at how the international community and the aid pouring in from within the country, and of course our closest neighbor India, who was in focus today on our discussion, is going to help Sri Lanka move out and come out of this situation resiliently. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week with yet another discussion at Hyde Park. Good night.